What's going on, guys? My name is Fat Bento and welcome back to another Lost Ark video. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into my roster and discussing each of my characters and my goals and plans leading up to tier 4. Let's jump right into it. Before we get started, I did just want to give some context for my account here. I'm a day 1 player who has taken several breaks from the game. I'm a bit more on the casual side, and I have about 2,300 hours in the 2 years since global release. This is the main reason I want to share my thoughts and goals with you as we look forward to tier 4, and give a bit of a different perspective on what is realistic for me as a more casual player, and for new and returning players as well as we move into tier 4. My current line of thinking is that I will be able to have 2 tier 4 characters by the time it's released, with the possibility of a third, which I will explain as we go. Most of my plans are based around the honing reductions to 1580 as well as the progression event that's coming in the July patch, but we don't have all the details at this time. So based on this, I will be going over the plans for the main 6, as well as at the end have a quick section for the plans with the rest of my roster. First, let's talk about my Souleater here. She is my current main and the highest item level on my roster. I play a high crit version of Knight's Edge, and she has a 5x3+1. Her gems are all event gems, plus this one level 9 on Guillotine Swing, and her elixirs are pretty trash because I'm waiting for the nerfs before trying to go for 35 or 40 sets. I enjoy playing her, but she is not going to be my main going into tier 4. My plan is to have her be the second character I get to tier 4, but only after I have my artist where I want her to be. So the plan for my Souleater when the July patch hits is to make some minor adjustments and have her progress through elixirs slowly. I don't have any plans to do Theamine on her, and she will most likely be doing solo Ivory Tower, Arcana, and Kyangale. I also have this theory that accessory prices are going to drop a little bit with the Watch to Ride engraving support, so I might be on the lookout for some upgrades specifically to her necklace here. I also might be reworking her gems to be all event ones, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Other than that, she is going to be sitting at her current item level until my artist is tier 4 ready. Next, let's talk about my new main going into tier 4, my artist. She is currently at item level 1560 with a 5x3 build and full level 7 gems on her main skills. She is currently my favorite playstyle in my roster, and that is the main reason she's the one I'm taking to tier 4 first. It also helps that she is a support, and they are actually overpowered in this game, so I feel like she'll be able to reliably get me into content that I want to do in the future. The main obstacle in this is obviously her item level. I'm focusing all of my resources into pushing her as soon as the honing nerfs hit next patch, and I did do some rough calculations based on the assumption that the nerf is 50% gold and material cost reduction, and as of this video she has the required materials to get to 1580 minus the Arrayhas. However, I am actually hoping the endgame progression event reduces this even further, but that remains to be seen. Once she is at 1580 though, she will be doing solo Arcana for her gear set, as the materials dropped will be increased over the party version. And her goal is to get to 1600 as soon as possible. From there, she will be doing Ivory Tower solo and working on her elixirs, as well as making the push to 1620 with that endgame progression event. Along with this, I will most likely find a time to rework her build to a 5x3+1 with Crisis Evasion around the time she's able to do Theamine normal at 1610. I may decide not to invest too heavily in this depending on what happens with the new Arc passive system in Korea. In terms of gems, I will probably take off all the level 7s from my characters that are eligible for the bound versions and either sell them or gamble on a level 10. I haven't quite decided yet. Either way, I want my artist here to have a level 10 cooldown gem on Sun Sketch and a level 9 on Drawing Orchids, with the rest being those free level 7s. So TLDR, pretty much every resource on my roster is going into her until she's tier 4 ready in both item level and build. Moving on to my remaining energy Deathblade, she is the potential third character I will be taking into tier 4. Currently, she is 1580 with the engraving support and event gems. And she does have a decent amount of bound materials, and this is the main reason I think it's possible she makes it to tier 4. However, she is my last priority when it comes to honing, so if she is pushed, it'll be close to tier 4, assuming everything goes well with my artist and my Souleater. Her plan when the July patch hits is similar to my artist minus the honing. She will be doing solo Arcana to obtain her gear set quickly, and probably doing Kyangale and Brelshaza party mode for the extra gold income. Only once my artist and my Souleater are 1620 will I even think about honing her to 1600 and beyond, and it might not be feasible depending on how elixirs go on those characters as well. However, she's going to have a bigger stockpile of materials by then, so I think it's possible she might be able to get to 1620 by the tier 4 update. However, I won't be too upset if she doesn't. Next is my previous main before the release of Souleater, my Empress Arcana. She's currently at 1563 with a 5x3+1 and full level 7 gems. Her build is decent, but she may be looking for some quality upgrades in the future if I feel like it. She's also sitting on a decent amount of materials herself, enough to get her to 1580 with the honing nerf I mentioned. This is pretty low priority though, and it will only really happen if I have a sudden urge to play her a bunch. But for the most part, she will be doing the party content of Brel and Kyengale for gold, and then probably solo Clown. I actually feel I struggle with my Arcana in Clown, particularly in Gate 3, so I hope solo mode might be able to alleviate some of that. But realistically, the only real plans with her right now is stripping her of her level 7s and then replacing them with bound ones. My Wind Fury Aeromancer is the same level as my Arcana pretty much, being 1546 with a 5x3 build plus full level 7 event gems. My plans for her are close to the same as my Arcanas as well, with a little bit of variance. Right now I'm playing a 50-50 Nightmare build with Cursed Doll, but in the future with engraving support I'm going to mess around with the other Wind Fury builds a little bit, so her accessories are probably going to change. She also has had a harder time getting into Kyengale as of late, so she will likely run the solo version to finish out her level 3 set, and probably do solo Clown as well, with her only party content being Belshazzar. Her gear is actually a little scuffed as well. As you can see, her weapon is at plus 13, and the new cap will be at plus 15, so I might be doing that as well. But I will most likely do that after my artist is past 1580, and possibly even after the last character we're going to be talking about, but we'll see as the time comes. So essentially my Aero and Arcana have the same plan, just be supplemental gold and hoarding mats for themselves if I decide to push them later. Right now my final gold earner is my Bard, the third character I made on my roster way back in tier 1. I fell out of love with the class as time went on, but recently with my renewed interest in support gameplay, she's made it back into the top 6. She's currently 1526 with 5x3, as well as a mix of 7 and 5 level cooldown gems. She's only a few taps away from 1540, and that is the main goal for her, as 1540 is the new cap for silver honing. Like I just mentioned, I don't know when I will do this, as it might even be worth it for me to get her to 1540 for the more gold generation before getting my artist to 1580. I'm waiting on the details of the progression event before deciding on this, but the big plan for Bard is to have her start working on her level 3 set as soon as possible in party or solo Kyengale. Mostly she has the same raid content as my Arcana and my Aero, but she may be doing 4-man Kyengale for the extra gold. For the other 8 characters on my roster, they all pretty much have the same plan. I want to eventually get them all to 1540, however this is very much a stretch goal. As a more casual player, I see that 6 gold earning spot as sort of a revolving door. Right now it's occupied by my Bard, however I do want to have the option to slot in whoever I want to play that week. As of July, the main playtime for anyone outside of the top 6 will come from doing Chaos Dungeons and solo raids on them when I feel like it. However, I plan on doing solo raid guides for all the solo content, and there's a few characters in particular I want to do that week 1, namely my Gunslinger here. She is the weakest character on my roster, so I want to test how feasible solo raids are on her with all the support she's going to get, as well as being able to provide as detailed of guides as possible. I also want to invest in my Gunslinger slightly, so she'll be on item level for solo Clown, but at this point it's a very small investment and it shouldn't interfere with my overall plans for my roster leading into tier 4. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and leave your plans for tier 4 in the comments down below. And if you enjoy my content or want to see more Lost Ark content in the future, please consider subscribing, as it would really make my day. But that's all from me. I've been Fat Bento, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.